Hey guys, welcome back to He Show Gaming. We got another game out of Gencon here. On the left, we have welcoming back Jeremy, the Crane Hatamoto. And on the right, we have Evan, a Phoenix Hatamoto. We are in the semifinals. Evan is also on this Charge Bird deck. Deck lists are down in the description if you guys want to take a look at them. Charge Bird, of course, 3 Fushiko, some mix of high-cost characters and Weenie Shugenjas. Lion Splash, 3 Forebears Echoes, 3 My Ancestor Strength, and some of them are running Strength in numbers as well. And then Jeremy is on Crane, Steward of Law, with Paragon of Grace in the row. 3 courthouses, 0 new names. A lot of people are running a new name this tournament. We're going to get underway here. We got flips. On the right-hand side, Evan is the first player. We have Fire Tensei Initiate, Mia Satoshi, Solemn Scholar, and an Ancestral Shrine. And then on the left for Jeremy, we have a Favorable Ground, Kakita Yoshi, Doji Challenger, and a Callow Delegate. Evan has first buy. Let's go see what he gets. Taking a look at his provinces. Gets the Fire Tensei Initiate for 1, puts 1 Fate on it. On the other side, Jeremy buys a Callow Delegate and a Doji Challenger with 3. Evan passes and then buys the Callow Delegate. Jeremy going down to 0 Fate. Evan sitting on 6. We have 5 bids on both sides. Again, we're going to be seeing a lot of card draw. Both of these players not very likely to drop their bids in this matchup. Crane, pretty card hungry. They love to see their conflict deck. Phoenix, on the other side, he really needs to see a lot of cards. In fact, he's going for more. He hits Shrine Maiden, Seeker of Knowledge, Censor, and Court Games. 0 spells. All those are going to go to the discard pile. See, we have the Gencon promos on the board with Callow Delegate and Shrine Maiden. Those were pretty gorgeous promos. There was some controversy at the beginning of the week with a shortage of stock, but I believe everybody that I knew at least was able to find the full playset if they wanted it. Evan's going to go in for an attack. Military Earth hits the vassal fields. Jeremy has a little bit of an awkward defense here. He could defend with his Doji Challenger. Looks like he opts not to defend. His first action is he's going to honor his Doji Challenger. Evan hits a Walking the Way. Walking the Way, of course, costs free. Costs 1 less if you have a Shugenja. Finds a Satoshi and flips over a Nujina. I'd say there's a pretty good chance we see this Satoshi charged here. Then again, Evan could just take the Earth Ring and leave the Satoshi for next round. Jeremy's just taking a look at Ancestral Shrine. Ancestral Shrine, you can return any number of claimed rings to the ring pool and gain honor for it. And there we do see a charge coming out. Hitting the Satoshi. Evan's just deciding which one he wants. And there's the Voice of Honor. Keeping that Satoshi off the board seems to be a priority for Jeremy, and I don't blame him. The Satoshi helps Phoenix fill up their discard pile. with birds and keepers. Evan is going to box for walking the way again. Looking at his choices. Discards the Ancestral Shrine for a Forgotten Library. Seems pretty good. Ancestral Shrine not going to do a whole lot of work in this matchup. It's more of a Dishonor tech for the Scorpion match. Now Evan's rethinking his choice. And he'll throw away a Satoshi. Evan going back to shuffle his deck after the walking the way, just forgetting to shuffle. Walking the way does shuffle your deck after you tutor the cards out. We are looking still at 1-0 on Evan, not breaking. He's going to pass, take the Earth Ring. And hits a political rival. Seems like a pretty good hit, although it wouldn't have come down this turn. It is still a strong card, although Jeremy runs 3 of them. So we will likely be seeing it hit the board this game. Caladelegate's going to come in for a poke of his own. Looks like Void Ring, Political Void. Hits the Meditations on the Tau. Pretty decent hit. There's a lot scarier provinces that one could run into. And the Caladelegate has 0 fate, so it is basically blank. Pass. Jeremy takes the Void Ring, clears off the Fire Tensei Initiate. Evan still has a conflict left. 3 fate, 0 strength Fire Tensei Initiate. He's going to pass this conflict, going to Jeremy. Jeremy's eyeing up his options. He could come in for another here. He does risk a charge or a Forebear's Echoes going in. But if Evan had another charge, he probably would have played it. But the Forebear's Echoes is a real concern. Goes Water Ring. Maybe trying to claim the favor. Or at least keep Evan off of the favor at the Meditations. Evan hits the Meditations, defending with the Fire Tensei Initiate. I imagine Jeremy will just pass. He is currently breaking. And there is Forebear's Echoes, calling out Satoshi. Now Evan's going to be able to use the Satoshi. It is still 5-2 now. No longer breaking. Fine Katana hits the challenger. 7-2, and Evan triggers Satoshi. There's 1 bird. 2 birds. Looks like 2 birds and 0 keepers in the discard pile. And he finds a palace. And he's going to discard the Satoshi for the palace. That palace will guarantee the favor for Evan too. Water Ring not looking like so great a choice anymore. Action to Jeremy. 7-2, he is breaking, and he will just pass. Evan will pass, and we'll take the break. Water ring standing the Cala delegate. Now 3-4 on Glory in Evan's favor. Looks like we're going to pass through the end of the round and go on to the Fate phase. Cala delegate will leave play, honoring himself and gaining an honor for Jeremy. And Evan's board will all leave. Gain Fate. Jeremy goes up to 7. Evan will be at 8. Got 11 honor on Jeremy's side and 10 honor on Evan's. Excuse me, 11 honor. He will fire the Ancestral Shrine before the end of the round. Jeremy flushes his cards, or rather just flushes the Yoshi. He doesn't have the favor, so Yoshi's just a big political body. Evan looks like he's deciding to keep the Palace and the Solemn Scholar. Flips over an Ethereal Dreamer and a Nuona. And on Jeremy's side, we have a Kakita Dojo, a Paragon of Grace, and a Toshimoko. He buys the Toshimoko for 3 Fate. Or rather, with 3 Fate. Still has the favorable ground from the last round. Evan buys the Uona. Being such a powerful card, especially against Doji Challenger, can bow any non-unique character after an air spell is played. Jeremy passes, taking the Fate, and Evan buys the Solemn Scholar with 1 Fate, and looks like he's going to hold it 4. He does have a 4 Bear's Echoes in the discard pile that he can access, along with 2 birds in the Dynasty. We have 5 bids from both sides. And going into the conflict phase. Evan's going to have the first conflict here. Jeremy just deciding if he has any pre-conflict actions. Oh, I'm sorry. Jeremy has the first conflict. He is going to go Military Fire at the Imperial Palace with the Challenger. And he hits an Upholding Authority. This is a little awkward for Evan. He doesn't really want to defend this. He would probably want Upholding Authority to trigger. But it is a fire ring, or it is a military ring, and he can get the forebearers off of this. No defense. Plays Walking the Way. He almost certainly will trigger Uona off this Walking the Way to bow the Doji Challenger. Finds a Keeper Initiate off the Walking the Way and flips a Keeper Initiate into the discard pile. What a great find for Evan. Yep, there goes the Uona trigger. And her Dynasty deck already looking kind of thin. Jeremy pulls in Uona. Oh, reconsiders and pulls in the Solemn Scholar. It is now 0-1, and Evan will win the ring. Oh, Jeremy does have something to say about it. He plays an Ancient Master into the conflict. Now 1-1. Evan needs to answer if he wants to take this ring. Firing, probably honoring Toshimoko. Not the most consequential of things. Evan just lets it go. And he decides to dishonor the Solemn Scholar. Seems like a pretty good choice. Toshimoko will be able to honor off the Kikita Dojo and the Stronghold. So, honoring him now seems like not a great choice. Evan's going to push the air ring here. Looking to get his keepers. Going at Vassal Fields. Rethinks where he's going. Vassal Fields seems like a good option, although losing a Fate is a pretty hefty price. And he decides just to go there, yep. So the one Fate from the ring is basically canceled out unless Evan manages to spend it right now. Kikita Dojo duels and honors Toshimoko and bows Uana. Now I have a 6 strength Toshimoko to 0, although not for long. Evan plays the Forebear's Echoes, but it's canceled. Second Voice of Honor coming out from Jeremy. And he pulls Toshimoko back. Evan is going to bow the box and spend the Forebear's Echoes again, and here comes the bird. Doesn't appear that there's a Voice of Honor this time. We are now 6-0. Jeremy will trigger Vassal Fields. Evan is now at 0 Fate. With a 6-6 on the board. Stewart-Law comes in. Both players now at 0 Fate. Evan is winning and breaking right now. 6-1. And there's the for shame to bow Fushiko. Stewart-Law, of course, not allowing people to become dishonored while he's in the conflict. For shame, dishonor, or bow, you must choose to bow. Evan will trigger the bird as he leaves play at the end of the conflict and find himself a Kaede.
That's why you play Stewie for shame.
Steward of Law for shame is in fact very good. There's a reason that Steward of Law is a restricted card.
You won the earring, right? Okay, I got it.
Jeremy did take the airing off of that, preventing the keepers from coming in. Toshimoko is going to come in for a conflict. Political water. Yeah, doesn't want to go at the Apollonian Authority. Tries to go at the Broken Meditations. Can't do that. Goes and hits Manicured. Haven't seen a water or a void province yet, so they still could have Kuroi Mori on the box and Revels in the row, or the other way around. Heaven's going to defend with Kaede. Uses Manicured Garden to gain a fate. Court Games to discard Evan's Court Games. We're 5-5 right now. Jeremy deciding if he wants to play a card. Looks like he passes. Evan plays a Clarity. Kaede will remain standing, come in for a second conflict for Evan. And Jeremy passes. Takes the ring. Probably stands. Oh, he stands the Steward-Law. Maybe indicating he has another for shame in hand. Evan's going to want to go in here. Almost certainly on the Earth Ring, so he can take advantage of Kaede's ability, turning any ring into a void ring and getting both effects. Jeremy just doing some housekeeping, marking out what effects he's used. And it looks like Evan's just going to pass the conflict. And he'll use Walking the Way. I believe that is the third Walking the Way. Discards the Keeper Initiate. What does he find? Jeremy's just going to go ahead straight into the Fate phase while Evan makes his decision. Finds an Ancestral Shrine. He has no rings to return this round, but he still could make some use out of it later. And it does discard that Keeper Initiate. I wonder what his other two choices were. Evan does still keep the favor with Kaede standing in the Imperial Palace. Now Duona's going to go away, and then Kaede and the Solemn Scholar will remain. Evan becomes the first player, and we're going to gain Fate. Both players go back up to 7. Been going hot and heavy for these 2 rounds. We have 1 break on the board, but a lot of attacks slinging back and forth. Evan flips a duped Kaede, another Keeper Initiate, and a Forgotten Library. Jeremy finds a Kakita Yuri, a Kaizen, a Paragon of Grace, and of course still has the Kakita Dojo. Plays the Paragon of Grace with 3 Fate. And Evan passes. Going into the draw phase. Got 5 bids. Once again. These guys are going to go for it. Until they have a reason not to, they're just going to keep bidding 5. Evan has the first conflict. There's a couple options here. Jeremy has a pretty substantial board. He does still have a bird in the discard pile. Although we don't know if he managed to draw 4 Bear's Echoes. Looks like he's going to do Political Earth at the Kakita Dojo. Shameful Display. That's a pretty good hit for Jeremy. He's going to defend with the Paragon of Grace, honor the Paragon of Grace, and dishonor Kaede. That's immediately going to take him to winning. Kaede at 1 strength, Solemn Scholar at 0. Evan has 2 strength total to Jeremy's 5. And now the Paragon of Grace is turned on for a random discard. Evan's going to play a Shrine Maiden. Goes up 1 strength. It's 3 spells. What a coup. Supernatural Storm, Clarity, and 4 Bear's Echoes. Take a look at his discard pile. He's got access to it now. There is a bird. A bird and 2 keepers. Jeremy triggers the Paragon of Grace, rips a display of power out of hand. Supernatural Storm hits Kaede, goes up 2, brings him up to 5. We're now tied. I'm sorry, he's up to 4 now. And Jeremy does it for shame to bow the Kaede. 1 to 5 again. Or sorry, 2 to 5. Against the Waves, standing up Kaede. And another for shame to bow. That's all the for shames. Evan can play the Walking the Way out of the discard pile again if he wants to, and that looks like what he's going to do. He plays the Walking the Way to stand the Kaede back up. We are tied.
You're out of for shames now, right?
3 for the Kaede with the Supernatural Storm, 1 for the Shrine Maiden, and 1 for the Favor. Brings up to 5. And Ornate Fan goes onto the Paragon of Grace. Jeremy is at 7 and is now now winning the ring. Evan's starting to look like he might just let this go.
So you're at
So I'm at 6.
6 strength, rather. 1 glory on the Paragon. Another Shrine Maiden. Hits my Ancestor's strength. Sensor and Charge go into the discard pile. I believe that's 2 sensors into the discard pile for Evan. He may not even be running 3. Some people have been cutting back on them. He might not have any cancels left. Ancient Master comes out. There's a My Ancestor Strength, turning the Solemn Scholar into a 6/6. Hand assassinated. So much for that 6/6. Six strength for Evan. The strength of numbers moving home the Paragon. Jeremy's gonna look in his hand for an answer. It looks like this Paragon is going home. Nope, doesn't bow. Strength of numbers is just a move home. It is very good though. You choose a character with X glory or lower and move that character home, where X is the number of participating characters on your side. 6 to 5. Evan is now breaking. Noble Sacrifice knocks off the Kaede. Evan's gonna go down to 3 strength now.
at 3 near 1.
All the kill effects coming out from the Crane side. This Earth Ring is looking even less juicy now for Evan without that Solemn Scholar. And now Jeremy might just have free reign of the board.
I lost one.
If Evan doesn't have a conflict character, he can't declare a military attack. And Jeremy can afford to just not attack military, and Evan is out of luck for echoing this turn. Looks like we're going to see a Kakita Dojo, just to honor the Ancient Master.
3 to 3. Pass.
Looks like Jeremy just wanted to get that honor token on the board. Evan will take the ring. Draws a card and discards a card out of Jeremy's hand. Jeremy looking pretty low on cards. He's only got 3. Evan sitting on a bunch, maybe 7 or 8. Going in for Jeremy's conflict. It's like a political water at the unknown province. Could be dangerous. It could be a Revels. Bowing that Toshimoku would not be ideal. Looks like he's going to go to Manicured Garden, though. Maybe indicating he's got something he wants to keep in hand. Otherwise, Upholding Authority seems like a really good target right now. Evan has no defenders, and he will gain a fate from the Manicured Garden. And Jeremy, with 6 strength, he'll pass. He'll take the Water Ring and break. Keeper Initiate goes into the discard pile. And he'll stand the Ancient Master with the Water Ring. Let's see if Jeremy is daring. Could decide to go in for military here, get a 3rd break. Seems dangerous. He knows Evan has an Echoes. It's gonna go at the Upholding Authority. Or maybe not. No, he's gonna go air. This is very dangerous. If Evan has another display of power, he can take this ring and get the keepers. Keepers will guarantee him favor for another turn. I've been deciding what he wants to do. He is first player. This is the last conflict of the round. Looks like he is going to go for the Forebears Echoes. Pulls out the bird. 1 more to the bird counter. We're now 6-6. And a Bonsai hits the bird. 6-10. And Jeremy just lets it go. And Evan gets all 3 keepers. Seems like there might have been a little bit too greedy of a play for Jeremy. He definitely wanted that extra break, but now Evan gets 3 keepers. Is going to keep the favor and get whatever character he wants out of the discard pile. And it's going to be another Kaede. Evan keeps the favor. Going into the fate phase. All he's got left is those 3 keepers and the Kaede. Meanwhile, Jeremy, Toshimoku with 1 fate and an honor token, and the Paragon of Grace with 2 fate and an honor token. Jeremy becomes first player, discards the Yuri. Looks like he's just going to keep that Kaizen. Probably planning on buying it next turn. More duelists to go with his Kakita Dojo. Seems to be a pretty good thing. Jeremy at 7 fate, Evan at 10. Jeremy flips another Paragon of Grace and a Brash Samurai, as well as the Kaizen and the Kakita Dojo. Evan flips a Kanjo District. That's a great flip for him. He does have the favor. He's going to be able to leverage that to try and keep Jeremy off the board. Flips a Fire Tensei Initiate and a Solemn Scholar. Buys the Solemn Scholar with 2 fate. Jeremy bought the Kaizen with 3 fate and passes for the first passing fate. And looks like we're going to go into draw phase now. Looks like Evan has about a dozen cards left in his conflict pile. We're going to draw 5. in the pre-conflict phase. Jeremy deciding if he needs to do anything before he goes in for the attack. He's going to go in political void at the Conjo. He's going to force Evan to use it. And the Midnight Revels. It is highest cost character on the board is Kaede. Evan will choose to not trigger it. Jeremy joking a little bit that Evan could choose to bow his Kaede if he wanted to. Seems like a bad play though. Evan's going to defend with the Keeper and the Kaede. Brings him up to 6 strength. Jeremy's Paragon is at 6 strength itself, with the fan and the honor token. Evan plays a Clarity, keep the Kaede standing. Paragon fires to take a card. Let's see, looks like we have about 10 cards in Evan's hand. He hits a Cloud. Not super relevant right now, but as soon as Uji hits the board, that Cloud is going to be missed. Court Games comes up to honor Kaede. Goes up to 9 strength. 6 to 9. Evan taking a look at his resources. Looks like he's just going to pass and take the ring. And now Evan's up for a conflict. He has a decent amount of strength shown on the board. The Honored Kaede is very strong. He's a 6-7. It's like Evan's choosing Military Earth. Gonna try and turn on that Solemn Scholar. Reconsidering. Do Fire for the Fate. Goes Military at Vassal Fields.
Military fire vassal seven.
7 strength on Jeremy's side. It's like, or on Evan's side rather. Jeremy defends with Kaizen and Toshimoko. And triggers Kaizen, and of course takes the requisite pre-duel explanation as to what Kaizen actually does. So if Kaizen wins, he and the duelists stay, are the only ones that stay. If he loses, he goes home. And he will, in fact, lose. Jeremy chooses to have him duel Kaede, and he'll go home. And Jeremy will honor him with the Stronghold. We are at 6 to 7. Jeremy just taking a look at Evan's discard pile before he makes a decision. He could give up a large amount of honor to try and bow the Kaede, but if Evan bids the same, he is going to get taken away. It looks like Evan's going to play a strength in numbers to send Toshimoko home, and Jeremy just lets it go. Gets sent home. Play Vassal Fields to strip a fate off of Evan. And now Evan is breaking 7-0. And still has the Kanjo District online as well.
You have a military left?
And Evan's just going to pass, take the break. Discards the card. It is another Paragon.
Void here, fire. Yeah.
Voids Toshimoko with Kaede and uses the Fire Ring on Kaizen. Kaizen goes back to Ordinary, and Toshimoko now with 0 fate. Jeremy has to decide now if it's worth risking a military attack to go for a third break. Evan plays Against the Waves on Kaede. That big honored Shugenja body just standing back, right back up. Jeremy's just going to go military water at the Kanjo. 6 strength coming in. I believe Evan actually has 0 birds in the discard pile. I believe his last bird came out during the last round. So 4 Bears Echoes is only going to hit normal bodies now instead of the 6/6 bird. Evan deciding if he wants to defend. He's going to throw 1 Keeper Initiate in. Keep Jeremy honest. And he hits the Kanjo. Sends Toshimoko home. Let's see if Jeremy has a response here, or he might just let the ring go. He doesn't have much in the way of military-oriented conflict characters. That is probably the best one that he has in his deck. Steward Vlaw hits the board with 0 extra fate. He is now winning but not breaking. Supernatural Storm bumping up the Keeper Initiate by 2. And a Bonsai hits the Steward of Law. Steward of Law going up to 5 now. 5-3. And a counter Bonsai is played. Goes up to 7. 5-7. Jeremy deciding if he wants to respond. If he doesn't win this ring, all he'll have to defend against the Kaede coming in is a Kaizen. An unhonored Kaizen. He'll put a Fine Katana onto the Steward of Law. That brings them to even. And another Supernatural Storm. 7-9 now. And Evan or Jeremy will just let it go at this point. During the conflict, before the end of the conflict, Evan's going to use Against the Waves with the box to stand up the Solemn Scholar for his attack. And Evan's coming in now. Military Earth. He's got a 50-50 for hitting Magistrate Station. Might want to hit Magistrate Station here. He might think he has enough strength to break. It is a political conflict. It is Magistrate Station. Jeremy might be able to claim the favor here now. Or at least keep Evan from reclaiming it. If he does no defense and stands, he'll have 4 glory to Evan's 4. Evan has no standing characters, and he'll have 4 rings if he wins this one. Jeremy deciding what he wants to do. And he does decide to defend with Kaizen. Triggers the Kikita Dojo. The Kikita Dojo will blank the Solemn Scholar and bow it if Kaizen wins. Evan getting a little low on honor. He only has 6 to Jeremy's 8. Evan thinking about what he wants to do. If he overbids here, Kaizen doesn't suffer a whole lot. He's already used his ability. 1-1. Bows the Scholar. Looking at 7-3. Evan is breaking. Jeremy trying to find an answer. A formal invite could do it. Or a Way of the Crane. Yeah. Brings Kaizen up to 5. 5-7. And Fumiki hits the board as well. Or, sorry, bring Kaizen to 4. Yeah, he needs this Fumiki to prevent the break. We are now 7-7. 7-8, rather. Sorry. Court games to honor Fumiki. Jeremy just keeps throwing down the cards. We're now 9-8. Of course, Kaede providing 7 strength and the Keeper Initiate 1. Fumiki at 5 strength, Kaizen at 4. And Evan passes. This is going to be big. Jeremy's going to prevent Evan from reclaiming the favor. And that Kanjo district will be offline for the next turn. Magistrate Station, such a fantastic card. Just letting you stand an honored character for free. Toshimoko will gain Jeremy in honor as he leaves. And now we have a very large board versus just the Solemn Scholar. Of course, Echo's Phoenix can just make boards appear out of nowhere. 0 birds in the discard pile still, though. Jeremy goes up to 7. Evan goes up to 10. Fate. Having gained an honor from Kaede, leaving play. Now at 7 honor. Jeremy deciding what he wants to discard. Decides to discard the Brash and the Paragon. And we have the flips. On Evan's side, we have a Fushiko, an Uona, and an Atsuko. And then for Jeremy, we have a Doji Challenger and a Kalo Delegate. There's a lot of targets for Uona on the board here. And of course, the bird is a big hit as well. This deck kind of lives and dies off of its ability to access Fushiko. Both players sitting on pretty low cards. Not for long, though. Evan buys Nuona. Puts 2 Fate on her. Here comes the Doji Challenger with 2 Fate. And Evan passes. And the Cal Delegate hits the board as well. 2 Kakita Dojos remaining for Jeremy. And Evan decided not to flush the Kanjo District. Looks like he has 5 cards in the conflict deck now. Reevaluates his bids. 5 cards for Jeremy and a 2 bid for Evan. So Jeremy will give up 3 honor. And Evan will draw just 2 cards. He might be hoping he can hold Jeremy off with just the cards he has in hand. He would be relatively low on honor if he let the conflict discard flip, and he would also not be able to access the spells in his discard pile with his stronghold. Players pass through to the conflict phase. Looks like Evan's going to come in for a military conflict with Huona. And he's going to push in the Solemn Scholar as well, going Military Earth. Trying to turn on that Solemn Scholar. Gotta go right at Magistrate Station. As soon as Magistrate Station is revealed, that's the target for the rest of the game until it's broken. Jeremy defends with the Doji Challenger and Kaizen. It's going to trigger a Kakita Dojo, hitting Nuona. Nuona won't be able to trigger her ability this conflict. Jeremy will honor the Doji Challenger now, too. He's got 10 strength on the military challenge to Jeremy's 1. Jeremy could charge the bird here. That doesn't get him to winning, though. There's a My Ancestor Strength. Turns the Solemn Scholar into a 4/4. That's all he's got in the discard pile at the moment. The Sukune. And there comes the other Kakita Dojo. Gonna try and bow this Solemn Scholar. And Evan upbids so he doesn't have to bow. And Challenger can no longer use her ability for this conflict. Four to 10 now. Here comes the bird. And the Voice of Honor to cancel the charge. Yeah, 4 to 10 still. Evan trying to figure a way out of this one. Now take a look in his discard pile. It's pretty fat. No birds in it, though. And Evan will pass. Jeremy takes the Earth Ring, and he's going to come in for conflict himself. He's got a 6 strength Paragon if he wants to use that. Looks like he's going to opt to use the Honored Fumiki and the Kalo Delegate. Also for 6 strength. Political Water at the Kanjo District. The Rebels would hit it can hit the Paragon of Grace. Jeremy's coming in for exactly enough to break. It'd be a big deal if he can break this Kanjo district. And we have a display of power. Jeremy's not going to get it ready. Evan's going to get the ready instead. Probably going to stand up his Solemn Scholar. And gets to come back for a political of his own.
There's 10 minutes left. I pass.
Jeremy opts not to use the magistrate station. And Evan goes in for a political heir at the magistrate station. Jeremy has no defenders. Fires court games. Solemn Scholar is now a 0-0. Does Evan have a conflict character? All 3 Shrine Maidens have been played. It's gonna use the Stronghold. Gonna have to use my Ancestor's Strength. Oh, he uses Walking the Way. Gonna look for something so he can dump the bird into the discard pile or dump Atsuko into the discard pile. Finds an ancestral shrine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Still 0-0. Jeremy insisting on cutting the 4-card Dynasty deck from Evan.
Oh shit, I meant to do that on the bird.
He plays my Ancestor's Strength. The bird is not in the discard pile yet, though, so he's going to have to become a 4-4. Jeremy is going to allow a take back here. He's going to allow Evan to decide to discard the bird instead of discarding the Atsuko. That's some sportsmanship right there. That Solemn Scholar is going to go up to 5 strength now. Jeremy stands up the Kaizen, and Magistrate Station breaks. Evan gains 2 honor and gets 3 keepers. Evan passes. Jeremy could go in for a military conflict if he wants to. Seems a little risky. There is a bird in the discard pile now. All 3 Voice of Honors have been played. He hasn't played a Gossip yet, though. And it looks like he's just going to go in. Figuring out what's on the Stronghold. Decides to do Void. And it is, in fact, Kuroi Mori. The Seminole Phoenix Stronghold province. Coming in for 5 strength. Is breaking if there's no defense, but Evan's going to defend with all his keepers.
I'm sorry. I'm not doing another thing.
And he's just going to pass. Seems kind of decent. He doesn't have any way to leverage more characters besides just claiming the favor, so it doesn't seem worth it to try and Echo's bird in. Seeker of Knowledge hits the board.
Pass. After the ring fade, I'm gonna try.
Not sure why that Seeker of Knowledge came down. I guess he just prevents Jeremy from getting the favor, or claims it himself. Yeah, that's why the secret was there.
Whatever you say, dude. I'm.
Takes it on military. It's Jeremy's turn to go first. He's got an Honored Doji Challenger, an Honored Kaizen, and an Honored Paragon of Grace versus 3 Keepers, an Uona, and a Seeker of Knowledge. And he can just come in political. Try and get the break before Evan can get the birds out. Although Koroi Mori is the box, Evan could just flip it to military. He flips up a Yuri and buys it. It's also got a Kaizen that he could dupe if he wanted to. Evan's got himself a Satoshi, a Kaede, a Adept of the Waves, and a Fushiko. Buys the Adept of the Waves. Looks like he's going to put a Fate on it. Evan's decks are getting pretty thin. Looks like he has 1 in the Dynasty and 2 in the Conflict. And Jeremy passes, takes the extra Fate. He's sitting at 5 Fate to Evan's 4. He bids 5. Draws 5 cards. Evan is just going to draw 1. Asks for a time check. There's 3.5 minutes left in the round. Getting close to time. And Jeremy's going to push. Now, he's going to play the political rival first. Gets to keep a character out of the conflict. Cloud's the political rival. And there's a let go. And another Cloud and then another let go. There have been no let goes played this game. Evan is only playing Cloud as an attachment, I believe. One card for Evan. He does have access to his discard pile with the box, though. He gets 1 spell out of there. Jeremy's going to push, coverting out the Seeker. He's got 21 strength by my count. And Evan's got 5 to defend with. He's going to flip it over to military. We got to do a recount now. I believe Jeremy has 14 strength to Evan's 6. Kita Dojo goes on the Adept of the Waves and bows him out. No, Jeremy or Evan overbids and keeps him up. No. He didn't overbid enough. And he bows. Evan's going to take his time. Wants to make sure he doesn't mess anything. He's going to use the box. Discards 2 Fate. Going for the Forebears Echoes. And pulls the bird out of the discard pile. That brings him up to 10 strength.
Who's your biggest military? I think it's the Challenger? Yeah. So I'm at...
Triggers Uona, bowing the Challenger. Evan's at 10. Jeremy's at 9. Sword hits Kaizen. Goes up to 11.
You're winning. Breaking a pass.
If Jeremy can get over the top here, that's the game. He plays a bonsai. Evan plays his last card. It's a censure. He is winning the conflict right now, but not breaking. He's going to do a Gunbai duel with Kaizen. He is over top of the bird right now, so he can force the Gunbai. Looks like Evan's going to choose to duel the Adept of the Waves. He gets the Gunbai. I guess Fushiko can't have attachments, so maybe he's not a legal target for the Gunbai. Recounting. We're at 13 to 10, I believe. 12 to 10.
Is the draw 2 cards, right?
Oh, no, this is the loser cannot declare a military conflict.
Jeremy's gonna trigger the Yuri. Loser cannot declare a military conflict. Evan chooses the bird. Jeremy's probably only triggering this to honor the Yuri. Evan overbids to guarantee the win, and Jeremy honors the Yuri. And there comes Steward, and that gets him up to breaking, and there's the handshake. Congratulations to Jeremy. Moving on to the final round. And the final round will be against Brad Amon. Also on Chargebird Phoenix. That's right. We've got 3 rounds of Chargebird Phoenix out of Gencon for you guys. Chargebird Phoenix versus Crane, specifically Jeremy. Congratulations, Jeremy, moving on to the final round. Stick around, guys. We got one more for you. And thanks so much.